So now what is AutoCAD? AutoCAD is a CAD program. It's created, maintained, developed, distributed by a company called Autodesk, and that is their website. You want to understand that AutoCAD is one of the CAD programs most widely used in the world, but it is only one of the many CAD programs that are available. There are other products too. We teach AutoCAD at Bakersfield College because it is very widely used. AutoCAD's been around since the early 80s, 1982 actually, and you can get it in multiple languages. If you speak French or Spanish or Mandarin or Arabic and you want it in those languages, it's available in a wide variety of languages. By far, it is the most widely used CAD software in the world. Autodesk is a huge chunk of the market share for engineering graphics software. Uh, AutoCAD runs on PC, and there's even a Mac version. And just understand, if you're a Mac person, that the Mac version doesn't really look like the PC version, and it can be tricky switching from one to the other. To buy a copy of AutoCAD so that you could use it for your business, it's about $4,000 to get started, and then about $1,000 a year to sustain that from year to year. And if we wanted to save a little bit of money, it is a little bit cheaper to buy the LT, or the laptop version of AutoCAD. Significantly cheaper. It just doesn't have all the cool stuff that the full version has. AutoCAD is free for college students in industrial drawing courses. So what you'd want to do, if you do not have AutoCAD currently, you're going to want to go to www.students.autodesk.com, and you're going to want to create a profile. And we'll have some instruction on how to do that very soon so that you can get your free Autodesk software for AutoCAD. In 1983, if you had started AutoCAD, it would have looked like this. It was a DOS-based program, which meant a lot of typing. It came on big floppy disks, uh, about 20 of them, and then the interface was very plain. We had some command line down the bottom. We have some tool tips on the side here. Our drawing window fills up most of the screen. This is the early interface. In 1996, Windows added toolbars. Well, not in 1996, but by 1996, toolbars were pretty common in most programs. So there was a toolbar that had a bunch of similar tools grouped together. The problem with AutoCAD was there are so many tools in the program that if you opened up all the toolbars, there'd be no space left to draw. So in 2011, Autodesk went along with a lot of the Microsoft products and switched to something called the ribbon, which instead of having 150 different toolbars, we have one place where all the tools are, and that one place, the ribbon, is arranged in a way that it's easy to get the tools you need. And the ribbon actually has got some intelligence built into it, so it only gives you the tools that you are going to use depending on the kind of task you're working on. So what can you draw in AutoCAD? Well, you can draw anything in AutoCAD, for mechanical design, civil engineering, surveying, architecture, aerospace, construction, 3D modeling, piping design, interior design, structural details, clothing, welding, electronics, sheet metal, you name it. You can make technical drawings for any field using AutoCAD software. And that's great. Uh, all of those areas need someone to make drawings before any fabrication, building, or construction can happen. And you have a chance to work in a wide variety of fields. Now, it's nice to be able to draw things in AutoCAD, but you can actually make things in AutoCAD. CAD files can be used to direct cutting tools like a plasma cutter. So instead of having to cut hundreds of individual little leaves perfect every time, we could use a CAD drawing, copy the leaf multiple times, and send that same drawing to a machine that will do the cutting for us. Here is a very large 3D printer. Here's another example of some things that we can make with CAD software. We can make 3D models and then have them fabricated on a 3D printer. Now, what you want to understand about drawing software is that not all computer drawing tools are created equal. If you look at this real close, you'll see that this was actually drawn in Microsoft Excel. Yeah, you can actually fill in the cells in Excel with color. So some bored student had some time to kill and made some works of art here. CAD drawings, though, are different. CAD drawings are very special. So what we want to understand is there are two types of computer-generated graphics. There are raster graphics and vector graphics. Raster graphics are made up of pixels, and you see this if you take a picture off the internet or a picture with your cell phone and you zoom in, you'll see a bunch of little squares, and each square has its own color assigned to it. Now, when you're zoomed out, the picture looks beautiful, but when you zoom in, it pixelates, and you see that it's made of little squares of color. Okay, so on a drawing file, that would be disastrous, because if you're zooming in and out, well, it's going to get blurry. And when it gets copied, it's going to be unreadable and illegible and sloppy. Vector graphics, though, are different. Vector graphics are not based on little squares of color. Vector graphics are based on vectors, which are going to be mathematical expressions that define geometric elements. So, for example, a line. A line isn't going to be a bunch of little black squares one after another in a row. A line is going to be a mathematical location, a coordinate, a Cartesian coordinate of a starting point, and then an ending point, and then a thickness and some mathematical properties applied to the line. And then what you see on the screen is actually AutoCAD doing the math to display these different geometric elements that make up the drawing. The nice thing about them is you can zoom in and zoom out, and they never get pixelated. They never get hard to read. They're clear and sharp, and they print out perfect every time. So here are two types of computer graphics, raster graphics. Maybe you've made something in MS Paint or Photoshop, and you'll see if you zoom way in, you'll see pixels. Vector graphics, AutoCAD makes vector graphics. Adobe Illustrator makes vector graphics. And the advantage is mathematical properties define the geometry, so it never degrades no matter what we zoom in or zoom out to. Okay, so we want to get started. We're going to go look for the most recent installation of the Autodesk AutoCAD software on your desktop. And if you take a look, we're going to find something that looks like a big red A. So on my desktop, I have AutoCAD 2020 English installed. You're going to want to give that a double click, and it might take a minute or two for it to open up. It's going to create a profile for you. And when it starts up, we should get something that looks sort of like this. All right, so here is our splash page or our start page, our startup screen for AutoCAD. On the left side here, we have a big button for starting drawings. In the center section, we have some recent drawings that you might have worked on. Now for you, this is the first time you're opening the software, so it'll just have some sample files in here, and you're free to open them up and take a look at them. Kind of cool. On the right side here, we've got some social media nonsense that honestly is just a gigantic waste of time. So, I mean, you can do what you want with it. I just try to ignore it. Okay, and what we want to do in order to get the software going is we're going to click on Start Drawing. And then at the top of the drawing space, you'll see that there's something up here called Drawing 1 that just opened up. As you move your cursor around the screen, you'll see that it's tied into the location of your mouse. And then what we want to do is we want to make some changes to the way AutoCAD looks before we do any work with it.